Previously on Make It Make Sense.
Not this season, though. It's the season finale of Make It Make Sense. Hello out there, internet land. I am J. Jonah Positive C.
And I'm James Thorny Thornquist, a.k.a. Weapon Y, I guess. Instead of but tonight we are talking about the X-Men.
The X-Men.
Yeah, Marvel Universe, Fox Universe, all of it. We're talking about as much X-Men as we can tonight. And we are back here on Make It Make Sense for that brief introduction. We are still having our X-Men extravaganza here. And things are about to get a little wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey weird. Because we're going to a whole new world and a whole new timeline. But it's hard to figure out how we're going to get there, Chris. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
There's two ways we could go here.
Is it just two? I think it might be three. What are your two ways? And we'll see if there is a third, because I think there might be.
So there's a fragmentation of this movie timeline that we have not addressed in depth. That is the Wolverine series. But that series is a lot of backstory filler oddities with some in-credit scenes that then tie us into the new universe, but also skips a potential starting point. Or we don't go that route. We go the other way, where we start our new timeline of X-Men and then somehow loop back into some of the Wolverine origin stories. I don't really know how to get there.
Yeah. So I think, those are the only two, because I think in hearing that, we at least need to discuss the end of the Wolverine, because X-Men Origins Wolverine really doesn't play into anything unless you want to count the Deadpool movies, because Deadpool kills himself.
Yeah,
that is the only thing that ties that movie into anything else, really.
Yeah, that's where we get into a really odd timeline splinter as well.
Right, which I think is more universe and not timeline. I think that's more. This is not the same. It's a parallel universe to what's going on. So that doesn't really matter. Because I don't think that Wolverine. I don't think the Wolverine and Wolverine X-Men Origins is the Wolverine we get in the Wolverine. It doesn't feel like that at all.
Well, it does. It's because X-Men Origins Wolverine is telling us the history of the Wolverine that we've just seen in X-Men X2, and X-Men Last Stand.
Yes.
But none of it matters for those three movies. Other than This is what the Weapon X program did to create Wolverine. And anybody who knows X-Men knows that story. So I don't think we have to touch on X-Men Origins Wolverine. But like you said, if we want to talk about the Wolverine, which is, just to quickly summarize, it's a lovely depressive trip all through Japan, following Wolverine as he pines over the fact that Jean Grey is dead. That is it.
Yeah. There's like a samurai guy, but that didn't really matter.
Some guy wants to steal his healing ability so that he can live forever. That is it. That's the story.
Which I guess that plan, stealing Wolverine's healing ability. How do you do that, by the way? Like, I've always, that is a thing that people do in comic books and comic book movies, that I just like, you're stealing the ability from someone. I can take your healing factor away. How can they designate that part of the genome of the X gene that only does his healing ability? Because that is not his only mutation, his other mutation are his senses and his bone claws.
Yes.
So you're taking away the healing ability, but that doesn't take away. I don't understand that. So the science is kooky, but I guess taking away and using the healing ability of a healer is a pretty good plan.
It is a good plan, but again, I don't know how you make it make sense or how it even works.
Right? Yeah. So
I don't think it's
we don't
something
really
we
need to
can
roll
roll on. Yeah.
No,
but the end of the Wolverine, we do get a post-credit scene where Logan is walking through an airport. Time stops, and he is approached by Charles Xavier and Magneto, asking him to assist them because a bigger threat is coming. And that is the scene.
And the last time a Wolverine saw either of these two, Magneto was depowered and Professor Xavier didn't exist.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is a very much a type thing. A mind F for all those out there in internet land, a complete mind F on Wolverine. And so that puts us into where we could, and let's go ahead and do it. Days of Futures Past.
Okay. This is going to get a little weird. Everyone strap in, buckle up. What is it the Cyclops says the first time that they're in the Black Jet or the Black Hawk? Put on your seatbelts or something like that.
God, Cyclops is so boring in those first movies. Such a Boy Scout. Okay, Days of Futures Past. The idea, the plot, there, Thorny, give us to it.
Mm-hmm. X-Men Days of Future Past, the 2014 movie starting in the year 2023, where mutants face extinction due to a deadly, shape-shifting robot called Sentinels that were created by Dr. Bolivar Trask. To stop this threat, Kitty Pryde sends Wolverine's consciousness into the past 50 years to 1973 so that he can find Charles Xavier and Magneto and enlist them in helping him stop Mystique from assassinating Dr. Trask so that the technologically advanced future Sentinels won't be created and wipe out mutant kind.
Yeah. And the weird thing about this is that, yes, Wolverine gets sent in the past and he meets Charles Xavier.
Yes.
He meets Professor Charles Xavier, the Charles Xavier that helped him.
Walking Charles Xavier with hair.
With hair. Actually, no. He doesn't meet him walking, right?
No, he does.
Because he's I forget.
So in this movie we find
medicine, right?
Yes, Charles Xavier is taking a mutant suppressant that weakens his powers so that he can walk.
Oh wow, yeah. I forgot about that.
Much younger. We are no longer looking at Captain Picard. We are looking. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
James McAvoy.
Well, yeah, we're looking at James. No, I was thinking the guy Patrick Stewart. Yeah, we're not seeing Patrick Stewart. We're seeing now James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, and that's the timeline spit right there, guys. The Professor Xavier, the Magneto, the Mystique that you knew from the first three movies are not the same. Not only recast, but personality types, the things that they do, the things how they get set up, completely different. The Magneto's origin is kind of the same, but not the same, as we'll discuss later. And so that's the past that Wolverine gets sent to help a future that it's really hard to explain how that past becomes that future with that Wolverine from that Xavier and that Magneto. That's why we had to do this like this, because you have to figure out, wait, hold on. Does this even make sense? Does sending back the Wolverine from that timeline in the past why does that happen like that?
Sending Wolverine from 2023 back to 1973, and it's just his consciousness. So it's that going back into his younger body,
right,
and into a body that wanted nothing to do with Xavier or Magneto in the past.
Yes,
which we will circle back to. So this is where we get wibbly wobbly.
Yeah.
So that he can then basically bring the two of them together, who are at odds, and stop Mystique from murdering Peter Dinklage. Because Peter Dinklage is going to make Sentinels
that will enslave everybody, basically. Enslave everybody. The idea of sending Wolverine back with Kitty Pryde's powers is the first plan I would like to dissect here. One, wouldn't Kitty Pryde be able to do that? Here's my thought process on why this plan could make sense and why Wolverine ends up where he is. Kitty Pryde's secondary mutation, I guess, in this world is her ability to send the consciousness phase through time and space.
Time and space, because originally her first power is to phase through space.
Matter.
Obstacles matter,
Yeah, and so now it's time and space. She's probably not that good at it. So instead of sending Wolverine back to the direct timeline he is in, she sends him back to a 1973.
Yep. I think that's an accurate way to chalk this up. We also don't have when this movie came out, we did not have the time whatever that Loki ends up taking over.
In the MCU,
Yes. So
the time stream.
Yeah, we're not aware of the fact that there's one timeline and then fractioning timelines that keep getting clipped. So this is our first exposure to what could potentially be a fracturing timeline.
Yes, and I think that's exactly what happened. And I think the ending of Days of Futures Past kind of puts that into play, because Wolverine wakes up in a future where none of that happened. And Jean Grey's alive, Cyclops is alive, all these people are alive and well. So to me, that doesn't mean that the what he did made the timeline he came from fixed. I think it's just created like a branching timeline. So Wolverine ends up in this different place now.
Exactly. I agree with you entirely. It's the idea that he went back to a different 1973.
Yes.
That they think is the starting point, but by changing things, it's the butterfly effect. And although he creates another fracture off of that fracture, and now it's here's the good timeline of what Wolverine just accomplished. Meanwhile, running parallel is the bad timeline that he just was sent back from.
Yes.
And
I think that timeline still exists. I think there's a timeline out there where the Days of Futures, I think just now without Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, I think you have a Wolverine body that is now has no consciousness in it, and it's just laying there on like a slab of concrete, motionless and dead.
Yeah, as the Sentinels destroy them, because that's where we're at that point in time. They're closing in on Kitty and all that stuff, and then everything fixes. I don't think it fixes. I think that consciousness of Wolverine just snaps into a different timeline. So that's. Did we just make it make sense?
I think we made that one make sense. That part of this movie plot made sense. What
I think we did
doesn't make sense is why Mystique somehow assassinating Trask results in the Sentinels being changed and made stronger, better. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
The idea is that when she kills Trask, he uses her DNA to make the Sentinels stronger, to where they can shapeshift and become almost indestructible.
Yes.
Well, if she kills Trask, who does the work to make the Sentinels stronger? Because in 1973, Trask is just building the first prototypes of the Sentinels.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the idea of, you take somebody out, the person who comes next can be worse.
That is
And
true.
so sycophants often have people who are under them, or sycophants are often people who, are taking their leaders' ideas and crafting them differently. And so probably the next person goes, whoa, okay, so this person can shapeshift. Okay, so that's something we need to look at. In fact, we need to fight fire with fire and try to use these abilities in our own way. And then maybe Mystique is captured and studied and things like that after the assassination, because that's, she's hunted now.
Yeah.
Now she's even more hunted because she assassinated a government official.
Yeah. No, I will give you that. That idea makes more sense.
Yes.
But it's still odd because the plan of sending Wolverine back to stop Mystique from assassinating Trask.
Yeah.
That plan doesn't make sense. This is truly the baby Hitler conundrum. If you could go back in time and kill Hitler, baby Hitler, would you do it? That's literally the solution to this, right? Is just make sure Trask doesn't survive to become old enough to make the Sentinels.
Yeah, send them back further. Yeah, it's a nice round number in 1973. So that's also some of my annoyance with that. Is we got to send them back exactly 40 years in the past or 50 years in the past. It's like, why not 1972? You know what I mean? The year before. And like, hey, Trask, don't trust people. Like, hey, Trask, don't be here at this point in time. Like,
say we're sending immortal Spec Ops Wolverine in the past to assemble two friends who are at odds so that they can reassemble their superhuman team to prevent an assassination. When in fact we could have just sent Secret Ops, Spec Ops Wolverine to 1950 to kill Trask.
Kill a baby. He's the best at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice. So you know what I mean? Like, you gotta kill him. You gotta do what you gotta do there, Wolvie. Yeah. In fact, let's roll for that. Let's roll for sending Wolverine to kill a baby.
All right. When we send Wolverine back in time to kill a baby, we get a 3.
Oh,
the dice is not loving our plans tonight. Dice gods.
Wolverine goes back, does not kill a baby, and he goes back and just, I'm back, bub. Fuck this, and just leave, just jets. Like what do I got to worry about a Wolverine? I don't know. What happens with a 3? What happens with a 3?
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned sycophants and people extrapolating. I think if Wolverine goes back and he attempts to kill a baby, he's grown a conscience over all these years of working with the X-Men. He probably doesn't want to kill a baby. I doubt he wants to kill a child. I doubt he wants to kill a teenager. So in that scenario, he probably doesn't do it, and things just go worse because Trask probably ends up getting Wolverine's DNA somehow.
Ooh,
and then creates a Sentinel that is entirely indestructible. Or if, say you send him back to when Trask is in college.
Okay.
And he kills college Trask. So, I mean, we're talking master's program Trask. So like 25-year-old Trask,
Yeah, right.
I think you still end up in a situation where someone finds all that research, still creates the Sentinels, still does the exact same thing, and you end up in a darker timeline.
Yeah.
Or you end up in a timeline where Wolverine's the villain.
Oh wow, wouldn't that be a great movie right there? Wolverine villain, the hunt for Wolverine. Right. I think that's a good one. What else in the days of futures past? What other plans are there? What is Magneto's plan again? What does Magneto even do?
Magneto turns the Sentinels against Trask and the government and is attempting to attack the White House. Because they have to break Magneto out of jail because he's been accused of murdering JFK.
That's right. And he was trying to save JFK.
Yes. Right. And when he turns the Sentinels onto the White House, Nixon then starts pressing for the Sentinel program to be launched. So ultimately, the butterfly effect of Wolverine going back is what actually creates this bad timeline in a sense. Also, you start getting the paradox loop, right?
Yeah,
but because Xavier is able to convince Mystique not to kill Trask, right? That's who we're talking about.
Trask.
Yes,
or Nixon. He's trying to kill Trask or Nixon. I can't remember. Now I can't remember.
Well, so Mystique's trying to kill Trask, but Xavier stops her from doing that, and instead Mystique ends up protecting the government or something, and from there people see a mutant saving humankind, and so instead of launching the Sentinel program, they go, "Oh, mutants are helpful. They're our saviors. We love mutants." And instead, the Sentinel program never starts, and they all get to live in peace, I guess, to some degree.
So, you know what? We're not going to talk about that movie, this movie I'm going to mention, but what if this timeline diverges into the Logan timeline, because now the X-Men are more loved, and that's why they get the comics. So, well, we would talk about that later on. Maybe
I say that could very much be it, but I don't think there's any more. I mean, I'm sure without having watched it, there's probably other plans that are bad. I just can't think of them right now.
Yeah. I think the movie making plan. I think the idea of bringing in the past X-Men and the future X-Men that we're about to talk about in these next few movies. I want to get this one out of the way like that. That was a good idea. Great idea. And in fact, like it messed up things kind of like timeline wise, but I think movie wise, it was very cool to see that. And I think that
Fox, or was this where
still Fox? Yeah, still Fox. This was still only Fox. This is actually one of the last ones that is only Fox. Because this was a big controversy with the Quicksilver. Because we had a Quicksilver that was about to be or already in Age of Ultron. I think they came out the same year, did they?
I think so.
2014. I think Age of Ultron was 2014.
You know what? Correct us in the comments. If we're wrong, tell us.
So I think that was so you have two Quicksilvers out there in the world because they were in different companies. So But so out of this movie, if you've only seen Days of Futures Past after watching the first 3 X-Men movies, you're looking at Professor Xavier and Magneto, and all those people like, who the heck are these guys? Well, it's James McAvoy, it's Michael Fassbender, and they were introduced in the 2011 movie X-Men First Class.
X-Men First. And we rewind a little bit. Going into what I think is our 6th movie in this list, or is it our 5th? It's our
number 5.
Yes. Although technically it's number 4 in the timeline of release. So X-Men First Class, set in 1962, but premiered in 2011. Moira McTaggart discovers an organization of mutants known as the Hellfire Club, led by Sebastian Shaw, who plan to initiate a nuclear war a la the Cuban Missile Crisis in order to ensure mutant dominance over humans. That sounds familiar. To stop this from happening, the CIA tasked Charles Xavier and Eric Magneto to formulate a secret mutant team to stop Shaw.
Oh, right. First great plan to talk about is Sebastian Shaw working. Well, no, okay. Before I say what I'm about to say, the first plan we are talking about is Sebastian Shaw working with the Nazis, because that is not a great plan. I don't want to say great in working with the Nazis. That's not good. But the plan that he has working with the Nazis makes sense. They were a powerful organization, but they also dealt with weird science. And his whole thing is trying to be able to do underhanded scientific experiments on people, and the people that were doing it at a at an ungodly amount and with terrifying efficiency were the dadgum Nazis. And so no good on being a good human, but makes sense as an evil person to be working with more evil.
Yeah, working with a very powerful evil organization that had that much control over things at the time. And working with trying to use Magneto after finding out that he's got these powers. Very, very smart. Take that away from the whole who he works for. Sebastian Shaw, Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
Good plan.
Kevin Bacon playing a bad guy.
Yeah, and well, too. I think he's one of the highlights of the movie.
Oh, he is. He is. I'm trying to think. Does he dance in this movie, though? I don't think he does.
I think he does a little weird kind of shuck jive kind of thing.
Oh, you know what?
Maybe?
I think you're right. I think he does do a weird shuck jive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not a full dance, but it's just kind of like a
little
footwork. Yeah,
what's his face from Charlie's Angels? Is that Edward Norton? No, it's not Edward Norton. It's
Crispin Glover.
No. The guy that plays the different movie. We don't need to go down that road.
Right. Not gonna make that make sense anymore.
Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. It makes sense for Sebastian Shaw to be working with pure evil and to meet what he wants to do. Plans that really don't make sense is trying to do the whole Cuban Missile Crisis thing so that mutants are the dominant species. Again, you're mutants. You have powers.
Yeah.
Magneto's out there. He's pissed at you and he's seeking vengeance because you murdered his family. But nonetheless, you're mutants. You've got a woman that can turn into Diamond and cannot be penetrated or beat. And she's also a telepath. Come on, dude.
You have a demon. You have a teleporting demon.
Yeah.
You got a teleporting. You're the first two people you hang out with, Sebastian. Oh, yeah. By the way, you can basically hold a nuclear bomb. You have a teleporting demon and a woman who can read minds and turn into crystal. Or diamonds. Yeah. I'm sorry, Bubba. You don't need the nuclear bombs. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah. Find more. I think he should have just been finding more mutants.
I agree. Yeah. Why is he trying to start a world war between, Cuba and Russia and America and all this? Are you looking for just a distraction so you can do something else? I don't recall what his actual premise was other than to create chaos.
And it doesn't make sense because did he have research on what happens to mutants with nuclear? Because that's I think that's somewhat lazy. And the idea that just because it's a nuclear bomb and they are mutants that it won't affect them, because radiation is different than, I think that nuclear radiation is different than the radiation that created them.
Exactly.
It's the same.
It's not going to mutate people into more mutants. It's going to fry and melt people and kill them.
Right.
And he doesn't even know if it's going to allow mutants to survive. It might just cause crazier radiation, and then they start growing weird mutated tumors that consume them, and they die.
Yeah, and we've already seen that a nuclear blast will completely take the skin off of Wolverine. Mm-hmm. So, and his healing factor is the only thing that saved him. So there's no possible way that, Storm is going to be able to last a nuclear blast. As great as she is, as powerful as she is, that's not a part of her moveset. It's not. You're going to have a lot of people who will die. Absolutely die.
Addressing the Wolverine of this, I mentioned in our last flick that this is, Wolverine. The last movie was Wolverine's first time meeting these younger Magneto and Xavier. In this movie, they approach him to join their secret CIA team, and he tells them to quote unquote fuck off.
Yeah, the first fucking an X-Men.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So
it was
we get
greatly done too. I think.
Yeah,
I think
great cameo.
that's one of the best uses of it. Yeah, most definitely.
I don't remember what our end credit scene was in this movie. I don't remember what it was in the last movie either.
Boy, I think this one is the formation of the X-Men. I think this is where
I think you're right. I think we see Cerebro and we see the door close or something like that.
Yes, because he's bald.
Mm-hmm.
He's bald at the end of this one. Right?
No. I think he's bald at the end of the last one we talked about.
Okay, yeah, but can he walk at the end of this one?
No, this is the one where he gets shot in the spine and becomes paralyzed because Mystique accidentally shoots him in the spine.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, I think we're getting closer here. I think he's talking to maybe Moira in the will, and this is where they see his family home because he's not. There's no school yet.
Yeah, there's no school. So this is where they're operating out of a CIA building. We see why him and Magneto have the Rend and are at odds because they have completely different visions of how mutants and humans should work together. And you're right. He's talking to Moira about the fact that he can no longer walk. And he's a little distraught by that, which then explains why technically in Days of Future Past, we see that he can walk again because he's taking the serum to suppress his own powers. He's distraught over the fact that Eric. Why am I blanking?
Well, that is not a post-credit scene. That'll just be the end of the movie. There's no actual post-credit scene for Days. But so the end of the movie at least. But yes, the lead into it. Yeah, First Class. There's no actual in credit scene. So cool, awesome. Yeah, that's just the end of the movie.
Yeah. So going back to the plans, we understand Sebastian Shaw's plan of trying to nuke or start a nuclear war doesn't make sense.
No, he should just use their powers. I think that's what we roll. Just use mutants to do your plan.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think if there's anything ready else. For me. Does the government need to be forming a secret CIA team of mutants?
Yes. I think that plan actually makes sense. Because once you find... Because it's like what we were talking about with the Stryker plan. Mm-hmm. Once you find out that these people exist with these abilities, instead of just trying to control them, work with them.
Yes, I agree. I think that plan doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think our only bad plan in this is why the hell is Shaw trying to start a nuclear war instead of just finding more mutants to overthrow the government and take over the world?
Yep.
You know, the rise of whatever Reich he was a part of. I don't know.
Yeah, the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's not a good government name, though. Like, you can't go around and be like, "Oh, my political party is the Hellfire Club." See, nah.
I think if you have a demon, teleporting demon, you can call yourself the Hellfire Club.
That is true. Wait a second. The Hellfire Club, isn't that the name of the Stranger Things D&D group?
Yeah, they probably got it from the comics because it is a famous comic book group that has a lot to deal with a movie that we'll talk about later that they don't exist in that movie about a Phoenix. Actually, they don't exist in any of the Phoenix movies, which is dumb. So, yes.
All right. Rolling on Shaw's really bad plan. That's a 17. If he goes and finds mutants and doesn't worry about stupid nuclear wars...
Rise of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah, he takes over the world, and instead of it being Xavier and Magneto, who are the biggest leaders of mutant kind, it becomes Sebastian Shaw and his evil, horrible ways.
Bacon, bro.
Yeah. But we probably also get the rise of Emma Frost in that situation, where, if anything, Emma Frost probably becomes the true leader at some point.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. The worst performance in that movie is of Emma Frost. That is a terrible, terrible Emma Frost. Just no personality, and she's supposed to be very smarmy and cocky and arrogant and bad, and she wasn't any of that in that movie. Worth the watch, definitely. First Class, worth the watch.
Worth the watch. January Jones could have been better. I get why they cast her.
She looks the part. Yeah.
Yes, she looks the part. But like I said, she doesn't play the part well. And I'm not saying January Jones is a bad actress. All I'm saying is that role was not right for her. They needed somebody who was a little more sharp and a little more like Dommy Mommy. Because
most definitely.
Like everybody was Emma Frost to step on them.
And those cuckoos. Yeah.
And that takes us to our 6th movie of this episode. Oh man, the steam.
Where are we at in this timeline, Bubba?
In this timeline, we are now at X-Men Apocalypse.
Dun, dun, dun. The controversial. Before we even get into it, this will be the controversial pick of I think it's worth the watch. I think this movie is worth the digestion just to see if you like it. Because there were parts of this movie that I definitely fully enjoyed. I think that Oscar Isaac did the best he could with that costume. They didn't make him Apocalypse, but he was Apocalypse in this movie. I think he did a good job based off of what he was given. There was tons of stuff in this movie where I'm like, all right, it's not terrible. Worth at least checking out.
Yeah, and cinematically, a very, very intense movie. But
yes.
You know, like so if you can appreciate art and action, I would say it's worth the watch. But if you're looking for a solid portrayal of the actual story, maybe not. Maybe just go read the comics. Yeah. But all right, X-Men Apocalypse, the 2016 movie set in 1983. The ancient and immortal mutant Apocalypse awakens and decides humanity has lost its way. His plan? Cleanse the world and establish a new world order. To do this, he enlists Magneto, Storm, Psylocke, and Angel to act as his 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and attacks Xavier's school in order to take control of Xavier and Cerebro and launch every nuclear payload into space so that Earth has no weapons to use against him.
Yeah, a better use of nuclear weapons right there. Actually, I think that plan right there makes a lot of sense. I love that.
It makes sense, but it's a little repetitive. I mean, how many times have we seen the Xavier's mansion attacked? How many times have we seen him taken captive? How many times have people come after him and Cerebro for the abilities that they have together? Understand, Cerebro's not a person. If you're not an X-Men fan, Cerebro's a machine.
Cerebro's not a person all the time.
Oh, is it a person sometimes?
Sometimes it's a guy, I think. Yeah, sometimes I think Cerebro, or is it the Danger Room?
Okay, I know Danger Room's always been the personification of a woman voice-wise.
Yes, and then it actually turns into a guy, a thing, Danger. So it becomes a being, but I can't remember if Cerebro becomes a thing or if Xavier like wears a permanent Cerebro. I do
think I do remember scenes of him wearing a Cerebro helmet even like out and about. So I do think they make a portable Cerebro for him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Cerebro's not a guy. Cerebro's not a guy.
Yeah. So that's our plot. Wipe the world clean so that I can rebuild it in my own image and be the absolute tyrant, ruler, dictator. The execution's smart. Yeah.
Get rid of nukes because that. So there's weird timeline thingies with the fact that Sebastian Shaw was trying to nuke the world, and now next movie in this specific timeline. Kind of, because technically the next movie in this timeline is Days of Futures Past.
Yes,
kind of.
Yes, it's
10 years. So in this 10 years before this, because it's 1983, would have been the events of Days of Futures Past.
Yes.
So yeah, because there's a weird scene in this movie that makes me wonder where the hell Wolverine went after Days of Futures Past, because he I
can't remember. Is Wolverine in this one? In Apocalypse?
Wolverine is definitely in this one because they are captured. The young ones are captured and escape somewhere, and they escape with the help of a Weapon X helmet Wolverine.
Rabid Wolverine running through what technically would be Alkali Lake. As they are trying to get out of this facility of strikers. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They tie them together. Yeah. So again, it's another weird cameo. I don't think we ever see his face. I think they only show him from behind and from like the neck down and with the mask on, so that they didn't have to actually get Hugh Jackman to come back. They could just CGI.
No. I think that was Hugh. That was Hugh. That was Hugh. You see a lot of them. Oh no, you see all that. That's all Hugh. Yeah, he got buff again for it. You see all that. But so that is, and here's why that's weird.
Yeah,
because Wolverine at the end of Days of Futures Past, yes, he gets technically captured by William Stryker, who's not William Stryker, who's Mystique.
Oh, yeah.
Because the glowing eyes. So are we to believe, this is what this means in this scenario, that Mystique pretended to be William Stryker long enough to work in the Weapon X program and give Wolverine over to the Weapon X people to experiment on?
Huh.
Why would she do that?
Yeah. Well, so, she was there she was trying to kill Trask, just prevent.
Yes.
But yeah, after that, why would she then turn around and be like, okay, now I'm going to go into this whole like mutant farming program of finding mutants to be tested on? Huh.
Yeah. And start with Wolverine and start with that, it's just,
it's that part doesn't
so
make
weird.
Sense. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make. Can we make it make sense?
Not unless somehow Mystique has also time traveled.
Well, no, she hasn't time traveled. So at the end of Days of Futures Past, she pretends to be Stryker. They grab Wolverine from the boat, so she's had to have pretended to be Stryker long enough to deliver Wolverine to the Weapon X people. But Stryker's the one who created Weapon X. So was the program already going? Mystique takes Wolverine to the program, has Stryker, and then
did Mystique start the Weapon X program pretending to be Stryker?
And then jets, because remember she jets because at the beginning of X-Men Apocalypse she breaks out those mutants that were being captured by the military and forced to be mutant soldiers, because Toad's there. I forgot who the one Nightcrawler. No, Nightcrawler's fighting in the cage with Angel, but she's trying to break people out of like being military, right? So is she just pretending? Did she just get in too deep?
I don't know.
Like, all of a sudden,
that makes sense.
Yeah, she just wakes up one day and she's like, crap, I've done too much. Like, I have all this paperwork now to fill out for this weapon. Crap.
She's like, what I really miss is espionage and just being a complete bitch. And now here I am, a slave to the paperwork, pencil pushing in this weird bunker. Yeah. I got to get out. So I'm out of here. I'm going to turn into the leader of this program, walk out that door and go liberate mutants now.
Wow.
Or maybe it's just another timeline. Who knows?
I don't know. So Wolverine, and that doesn't make sense. But Apocalypse's plan of getting rid of the nukes makes sense. Using Magneto and Professor X doesn't make sense, because he should know, after absorbing all of human information from a TV, that those two guys, one, can't be controlled, and two, are always flipping, and like at least Magneto is always flipping sides. So if you think that Magneto is on your side, he is not.
Yeah, I don't even understand why I know it's mentioned in the movie why Magneto teams up with them. I can't recall what it is off the top of my head. I want to say it's
he has his family murdered, or because his family was murdered by people looking for Magneto because Magneto saves a guy at his job.
Yeah.
And this place is a mutant, and so they come and they actually kill his family, and so Magneto goes rogue, and he's depressed, and he's got PTSD, trauma, and who knows how to deal with people and make people do what they need to do if they already have trauma than a megalomaniacs like Apocalypse. Yes.
Yeah, because that's how he gets Angel on board, and through all the comic series and the cartoon series, it's always Angel has trauma, and I play off that trauma.
Yep.
How he gets Storm, I don't really understand. I understand that in this movie, she's kind of like a young street urchin thieving type instead of being the potential like queen of Mount Wakanda. That's a whole further down the line thing with her and Black Panther. That's not even a movie.
You know what they use? They use Apocalypse as almost like a stand-in for the Shadow King. Because in the comics, the Shadow King is the first person to torment Storm and kind of uses her in different ways. So I think that's kind of the parallel in that is that Apocalypse is kind of the bad force before she goes good.
Gotcha. Yeah, because yes, in this movie she flips sides. Magneto flips sides because Magneto realizes he doesn't like the fact that all of his fellow mutants are being destroyed and being used as pawns for Apocalypse. Same with Storm. Storm realizes that anyone that's worshiping him, he doesn't actually care about, so that's why she flips.
Yep.
But yeah, the idea of getting rid of the weapons that could harm Apocalypse makes sense. And then from there, he's not going to rely on I'm wiping the planet clean with your technology. I'm just going to go through and do it with my 4 horsemen and myself.
Yeah. That's always a flawed plan of his. I always think Apocalypse should, have more than 4.
Yeah.
That's what we should roll. That's the plan I think we should roll right here. Apocalypse
that might be the worst plan.
Having more than 4 horsemen. Because this stretches throughout comics and TV shows and all of this. Why does he only have 4? Just 2 left in.
Yeah, they always start off as complete badasses, and then all of a sudden they kind of just take a turn and become very vulnerable too.
Yep.
It's not always because they work through their trauma. Sometimes it's literally just because they get beat.
Yeah. His horsemen are getting their ass kicked all the time.
Yeah. So should Apocalypse have more than 4 horsemen? Maybe it should just be the 4 armies of the Apocalypse. Let's find out.
Yeah. No.
That's a 7. Huh. I don't. Huh.
That is disappointing.
It is.
Because that is not high enough to be a success, of course. It's not really low enough to be an ultimate failure.
Yeah.
What happens? Is he not convincing enough to get more than 4?
Maybe he just can't find enough people with that much trauma to build an army. So maybe he doesn't get 4. Maybe he gets 10. But they're still not as effective as it would be if he was just like, I'm going to raise a Sentinel army, plus have my generals, plus I'm going to enslave humankind. And, because Apocalypse has done a lot of weird things.
Yes. Yeah, if you're watching X-Men 97 right now, season 2, you'll see like the rise and the greatness of Apocalypse. Very good show, by the way.
Yeah. I need to re-up my Disney Plus so I can watch it because I heard when I heard it came back, I was super excited, and I tried to log in and went, "Oh, dang!
I'm not paying for that right now." All right.
Yeah.
So so I think that's good with X-Men Apocalypse because there's really not a lot of movie.
It's just a very heavy action movie. It relies a lot on the tropes that we've seen and through a lot of X-Men movies already, and it was pure spectacle. It's a fun movie, but it's not the best.
We're going to end our X-Men extravaganza by talking about the final movie in this saga of the X-Men. And we're not going to talk about the plan within the movie because actually I have not seen X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Oh, neither have I.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And this is with the other one that is not worth the watch. Don't do it. Enough reviewers have told us in the internet land not to watch this movie and not it's bad and not in a bad way. Let's just say, because there are some movies like Good was kind of good in a bad way. Like it's not a very good cohesive movie, but it's a good spectacle to watch. It's kind of good in that. Dark Phoenix isn't even fun to watch.
No, yeah, like I said, nothing about the trailer appealed to me. Nothing about we've seen Phoenix in so many ways and fashions. So, jumping into our quick synopsis here, Dark Phoenix, the 2019 film set in 1992. Jean Grey is struck. Trust me, there's a lot of people that want to stick Jean Grey. Jean Grey is struck by a mysterious cosmic force during a rescue mission for the Endeavour space shuttle. This new force amplifies her mutant abilities, but also triggers suppressed memories from her childhood of her mother's accidental death that Xavier has blocked. This sets Jean off as she accidentally kills Mystique, resulting in both Beast and Magneto wanting vengeance. An alien leader of the Dabari offers to help Jean control these new powers, but is actually plotting to take them from her for her own self.
The plan we are going to talk about with this movie, and this actually leads into X3 to X-Men Last Stand, is making another Dark Phoenix movie and not making a Dark Phoenix movie. Neither X-Men movie that took the classic. Like, if you don't know anything about comics, but you know peripheral things about comics, right? If you've been lucky enough to, be a comic fan and have read Dark Phoenix Saga, good for you. But if you're just a fan of like pop culture, you still know that comic, and you still know that it's like a seminal comic. It's like one of those ones that people go, oh yeah, that's just great storytelling in general. But you'd make two movies based off of that without using anything that makes those comics good.
Yep.
Make it make sense.
I think everybody wanted to find a way to make sure that Jean Grey got her moment of being the baddie. And that's why they did it. But there's just too much of that story to try to put into a 2-hour movie or a 1.5-hour movie or a 3-hour movie, because
that is your trilogy. If you make an X-Men movie trilogy, you have, if you do the Dark Phoenix, that's what you have to do. You got it, because the thing about that story, and I'm not even like a big comic fan, but I love that story because up until that point, Jean Grey is kind of not a non-factor in a lot of the X-Men stories, like at all. Like it's not how she's written, but you learn to love the character because of different things, and kind of there's a softness with Jean Grey, and so that's what creates the epicness of her sacrifice and becoming a Phoenix and then becoming a Dark Phoenix, and you don't have the Hellfire Club in there in that way to be the ones that are tempting her. You don't have the two alien races really that are involved, like Lalandra and her people. I can't remember the name of them. And then it's I think the Kree is one of them.
The Kree and is it the Dabari or is it something else?
The Shi'ar. They're bird people.
Yeah. You're right.
You don't have the bird people. Both movies were scared to go really cosmic. They were scared.
That's the problem. They were trying to make the X-Men so real and grounded that I think going cosmic started becoming this thing of like, oh, that's so big, and it's a lot of melodrama in that that story. So trying to make it 3 movies is very hard to do and keep people entertained.
Right. Yeah. I guess that was the other issue. Like, you would have to try to find a way to make it more action heavy because it's not their big set pieces within the comic and in the story. But you know what actually did a very good job at this storyline?
What's that?
The X-Men cartoon back in the 90s.
Oh yeah. That's where I first learned about this storyline.
Yeah, I think it's like a 4-parter.
Maybe even more. I think there's Rise of the Phoenix. Then there's Dark Phoenix, and then I think there's the whole like reclamation of Jean, like coming back to being Jean. So
right.
because she starts off as like good Phoenix, then loses her damn mind and becomes Dark Phoenix thanks to the Hellfire Club. And then they go to space and they're like, we got to bring her back, you know, because like Scott can't give up on her. And Charles is hanging out with the bird people. And
which that's one of the things I think that just doesn't do it for me when it comes to I really wish they would have taken the risk, because Dark Phoenix adds an alien, but they're just people.
Yeah.
Like they're not really interesting. They're just kind of more people with powers. That's kind of what that they are. But the idea that there's this intergalactic war happening outside of Earth, and that is kind of the Imcron crystal and all that stuff. There's so many little things like within the story of the Phoenix and the Dark Phoenix that they just go, not needed. That's not why people like that story. They like it because Jean Grey becomes a big bird. No, that isn't why that story is good. The melodrama is a part of it. The relationship between her and Scott, like that's a part of it. It's about being tempted. No, it's not. And like, and the like, nothing. You don't feel like you lose Jean Grey at all in either of those movies.
No, it's
even when she comes back in Last Stand, she's still she's Famke.
Yeah. No, I'm saying the cartoon is long because it's dealing with the trauma of Jean and how she got to this point. And that's why it's so melodramas, because it's the growing up, it's the parent issues, it's the Scott loves me and will always love me, but I can't love him in this form because I'm just so furious. It's like I said, that's why it's hard to turn it into a movie, because it is kind of heavy and dry at the same time.
Yeah. Yes. And there's not a real payoff that you can have in a movie unless you really care about Jean Grey, because her sacrifice and like, I guess, flying into the sun is how you end that. But you can't end that if, I mean, no offense to Sophie Turner, she wasn't cared about enough within the stories to make us go, okay, now we need to care about her character because she's the Phoenix. Famke Jimson, I loved her as Jean Grey, but within story wise, by the time it got to Last Stand, it was like, okay, so you're bringing her back because she's the Phoenix, but like, what did you do with her character when with those other two movies to really make us care about her, besides the fact that she is Jean Grey? She sacrificed herself at the end of X2, but that's it. And I think that in movie,
a destructive monster
comes back. Yeah. There's no in between, and it's like, oh man, did we really do either character justice? No, we didn't. Did we need to do it again? No, we didn't. No, there was no reason. And maybe so. Do we want to roll on maybe Dark Phoenix being a different movie? Maybe them taking another storyline, because think about it, Dark Phoenix is really what killed this X-Men franchise.
Yeah.
If Dark Phoenix would have been a successful movie, there would be more talks about, hey, let's just continue that going. But because it bombed and it was a bad movie, they had to retool everything. Yeah. So
Marvel
maybe
was able to get the rights and say, hey, guess what? You're coming to the MCU, baby.
So there's a storyline that the X-Men just used in the first season of X-Men 97 of Bastion, the half-human Sentinel.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been good. A master multi-vibe. I think Sentinels are a very good enemy for the X-Men, because there's lots of peril with the Sentinels, right?
Yes.
And it would tie in the beginnings of all these other movies. It would tie in Futures Past a little bit more. Like, hey, this program never really ended. And with it not ending, this is what they become now. And now they've built this master mold. Now you have these half human. I think that would have been interesting to do, rather than force in Dark Phoenix again.
Yes, no, I agree with you. And we haven't seen a Mr. Sinister movie yet either. Although, again, a lot of melodrama in that one, a lot of cloning, a lot of oddities.
A lot of Jean and Scott, and also we didn't care about them yet.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, right? Every X-Men movie has been really bad about making Cyclops and Jean focal points of the movies. It's always been Wolverine and Rogue and Magneto and Xavier.
Magneto and Professor X. Yeah. It's those three, really, honestly.
But again, I don't think we've had a very solid and amazing rendition of Cyclops until X-Men 97. Because even in the old 90s cartoon, Cyclops was just the Boy Scout. That's why no one wanted to play him at recess. That's why nobody ever wanted that action figure. He was the Boy Scout. And then 97 comes along, and in that first episode, he laser beams to break his free fall. And you're like, oh shit, Cyclops is cool.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. So let's roll to see if adapting the Bastion storyline would have been a better movie.
Adapting the Bastion storyline. It's a 10. It's right there in the middle. I think that leaves us to say we really don't know until we see it.
We don't know. But you could find out by subscribing to Disney Plus and watching the first season of X-Men 97 and seeing if that storyline would have been fun in a movie. And if you think it's fun, you can tell us. You know how you can tell us? You can comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, on Zaboys Media TV, if you're listening to us on Spotify, Acast, Doorkick, or whatever the other ones are, Apple Podcast,
Dropkick, it was Dropkick,
Dropkick, or something like that. Yeah, you can comment in a show notes. We will we love conversation about things, and we will conversate about all of these movies with you, no matter what, because we love it. This is the season ending episode of Make It Make Sense.
Yep, season 1 is a wrap.
I think we've had a lot of fun on Make It Make Sense. We're actually ending season 1 the way we began with a episode 0 that no one heard, I believe, right?
Yes.
No one heard.
Yeah. So there is a lost episode of Make It Make Sense out there that, no matter how many times I have tried to work it, I just cannot make it make sense. And it's, we'll put it this way. We did a really long look at horror movies and horror slashers and horror killers and tried to make them make sense. And you'll never get to hear it.
But if you want to hear and see somebody make sense of a whole bunch of horror stuff and a whole bunch of video game stuff in general, Wow Such Gaming on YouTube. Look him up. Our buddy Zach, a great YouTuber out there, has a lot of great horror content out there. And it's good stuff. So if you want to hear and watch somebody actually make horror make sense, Wow Such Gaming is your place. If you want to join us with more pop culture, making it make sense, we're here at Zaboys. We'll also have some more content coming your way with more Zaboys to Men.
Yes.
We'll have a new show coming out called Pitch It.
Yep.
And just, stay tuned for skits. Stay tuned for all of that. We're having a good time here at Zaboys. We're not stopping, everything. We're just, retooling and doing some things different with this show and having some more fun with some other projects. So, Thorny, anything else you want to say to the people before light us this victory cigar?
Yeah, no, I will say one last thing. Get down in the comments and just tell us, what do you guys want to hear? We keep asking. We really would love to hear more of y'all. That's it. That's all I got.
Love it. And so I'm lighting up this victory cigar. We are Zaboys on Positive C. That is Thorny Thornquist. We'll see you around the bend. Monowea, and stay gold, Pony Boy, and send me pictures of Spider-Man.
Thank you for listening to Make It Make Sense, a Zaboys podcast. If you like what you're hearing, follow along with us and, add us to your little list or whatever on Spotify or wherever you're listening. If you'd like to hear some of our previous stuff, you can always check us out on YouTube at Zaboys Media Network for some of our past work, or by searching on Spotify for The Locals Connection with a Z. That's The Locals Connection. Thank you again for listening. Monowea and stay gold, Pony Boy.